And what he said was very interesting, I shall say. So, his name is 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦, and this is with Jag, and here's a clip with Sam Jr. And before I press play, let me not forget to say thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, because I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. And let's chat about it. Now here we go.
Basically the template for what you're about to do now.
Exactly.
Now, I'm jumping back to you to fill in what happened to you.
My son got on a plane, came home, and said, "Mom, don't send me back."
Yeah. I could still remember what happened on the one day in particular where everything basically exploded all the way back in June 3rd of that year.
Wow.
In my room, I was either doing one of two things. I was either drawing or I was on my tablet. I'd hear things in the main room over by the kitchen and the front door exploding. So I was wondering what's going on. I had and just before I left my door, I heard my dad yell as if he was in pain. So I go out to see what was happening. I see him holding his nose, and with that, I could only consider that things were exploding onto an argument. And before his girlfriend at the time, Janice, left, she had hit him in the face, particularly in the nose, and he had told me at the time that it was noticeably damaged at the time or something of the sort. So she left along with her child. I never saw either of the two of them again after the fact. I didn't go to sleep afterwards, but on early that morning, before the sun came up, before daybreak, I'd see security members in our apartment, and they said that we had to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The constable came to put them out in the middle of the night.
Wow. And so he comes to you, and he's aware.
And then where did you go after that? No, wait a minute. There's more.
Afterwards, my father had arranged a place for both me and him to stay with someone he knew who was living there at the time, named Brandy.
By the way, he lied to me and told me they were staying in a hotel.
Not a hotel. It was, I believe at the time it was like a condominium that was, I believe at the time after Regent's Park, both of us stayed in a condominium that was down the street from where Obama was, but it was where Obama's house was, but it was pretty far. It's like 5 or 6 blocks away from it.
Wow.
That's where we ended up staying for pretty much the rest of the time I was there in Chicago.
And who was Brandy?
Brandy from what I can remember, she had links with my dad, and
because they both worked at Polo Ralph Lauren together.
They did.
By the way, she was the side bitch. That's probably why he got busted in the nose from the baby mom, and then it turns out it wasn't even his baby. I don't know.
Wow. Most likely that. So I ended up staying with her for a bit, and then
he came home. I got him a plane ticket because my ex-husband had to go to court over that whole thing, and he came home. And when he got home, I picked him up at Philly International Airport. Mm-hmm. And what's the first thing you said to me when you got off the plane?
I didn't want to go back after seeing what had just happened after a whole year. Like earlier points of the time when I was staying with him, like back in
hold the phone.
Like back in like January, February, March, things were relatively fine, all things considered. But April and May, things started to de-escalate between the two of them, and it wasn't until June when things exploded, and I felt like, I'm not sure if I can really stay. There's this feeling that I have is like, things don't feel like secure or safe over there. I'm not sure if I could like really live like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure
yeah,
that people storming into you, storming in the middle of the night, putting you out of your place, that's traumatizing. That'll stay with you forever.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I remember it practically vividly after all this time, no matter how many years have passed from that point. It's like, I remember other details of going out there today because I think maybe I'm mixing it up with a later year, but I'm thinking also in that year, that day, I had also gotten an appointment with an orthodontist checking out my teeth, see whether or not I should get braces or not to straighten them out, even though I think my teeth are fine. Yeah, wow. Remember those small details of it too.
So after you told your mom you didn't want to go back anymore, what happened?
We talked a bit about it. I think at first I didn't want to exactly admit to her about what had happened over there. I was trying to hide it a bit, but she knew something was up and she pressed me on it. So I told her everything that happened, and afterwards she told me, is like, if you don't want to go back, just tell me and you could stay here with me. And when I hear from her like maybe a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this, she told me that him and her had an agreement that if there's something going on and I didn't feel right staying with the other parent, that I'd stay with whomever I thought I want to stay with best, which at that point would be my mom.
Right.
So I would stay with her and her mom over in the, I believe like 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 apartment place. I was fine with staying in there, and I was getting online schooling during like the start of the 8th grade at the time, mainly because schools in Philly mileage varies on the teaching. Like, yes, I may be a good student, but it's up to the schooling whether or not I actually learn all the material that I need to.
Right.
So my father ends up hearing about this, and he's going like, okay, this is not verbatim, but he's like, wait a minute. He's supposed to be back here with me according to the new custody arrangement, where he's supposed to be with me during the school year. This isn't right. So he starts calling. He starts calling mom. I'm pretty sure I didn't have a phone at the time. Starts calling mom, telling her, hey, our son's supposed to be with me. Please send him over. She wouldn't send me over because I didn't feel right going back.
Right.
And it was at this point in time that I contacted DHS. Well, actually, he called DHS on us to have me declared as an unfit mother. I agreed to go through the process. And our person from DHS said it was a fit and stable home. He was a well-adjusted child, and that they were going to stand with us and say no. I did a post about it on my Facebook page years ago.
Yeah, let me. I want to ask this question, and I'm being very black when I ask this question.
Please do.
Go ahead.
Was there a price tag attached to your son with him being in that household?
Absolutely, because he wanted me to pay him child support.
Right. Okay.
So the DHS thing happens, and they say we don't have to. We go to court in Philly. Philly says if the boy says he feels unsafe with his father, wants to stay with his mother, and his mother's here and able to take care of him, and DHS says it's cool, the boy can stay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he started pressing charges in Chicago. So I would have out-of-state charges and be forced to have to come to another state to deal with it. But the custody order was in Philadelphia, so that's when he tried to start getting it switched over to Chicago. But what he did was he took the Philly order, even though Philly told him to go kick rocks, took it to the Chicago police, lied, said that I was doing all of that. And that was the first time you saw me get arrested.
Yep. Oddly enough, kind of a similar way when both me and Dad worked at Region Spark in Chicago. I was in my room. I was in the midst of doing schoolwork, staying the good student I always was. I hear something going on in the living room, so I'm wondering what exactly is going on. So I left my room, see what was going on, and after making a left turn, then maybe like a step or two, I see my mother being put in handcuffs right in front of my eyes.
And by the way,
what's so crazy about that to me?
Wait a minute. By the way, while all of this is happening, my ex-husband is standing in the hallway with the police so he could take him.
Yeah.
And as the police was carrying me out, my ex-husband looked at me and said, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Possession, like he's a thing.
Yeah.
Wow. But what I was about to say, as a black man in this country, just calling the cops on family, and you know how it goes down. That situation did not have to be that way. It could have turned out totally different. Totally different. And your child is in the middle of that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So then you go back with your dad because that's the way.
So I go back with my dad, though I believe in the car.
Shout out to Night and Day Network. That's Isaiah and JR, who you talked to before.
Oh. Yeah. So like in the car, I don't know exactly where it was. It was
Change the position of the camera.
Oh, right. Yeah, so this is late at night. I don't know exactly when he said this,
There you
but I think
go,
we're still in
Jaguar.
Pennsylvania.
I don't understand when people are talking on the phone, they can't tell what kind of camera angle that they putting out. That's crazy how people just, look how his,
And JR.
people don't care.
Oh.
He's holding the camera.
Yeah, so like,
I guess that's the younger
the
generation,
car,
I guess.
I don't know exactly where it was. It was
Change
like
the position of the camera.
Oh, right. Yeah, so this is late at night. I don't know exactly when he said this, but I think we're still in Pennsylvania before we left to Chicago to get back to Chicago. In the midst of the trip, I think he said, "It's like, son, at the very least, not verbatim, but what I'm saying is like, at the very least, that he was there to pick me up, because had that not been the case, if he wasn't there, I might have to stay in the orphanage for a little bit before he could pick me up."
And even knowing that he did it, knowing he did it anyway, that's crazy. So, let me holler at the mom, because this is about her jail stint.
Okay.
So they take you to the clink.
Yeah, I went down to the roundhouse down 8th and Arch.
Wow.
And they were trying to extradite. Yup. That Gap sweatshirt that I had on, that's where they cut off my strings.
Wow.
And they took my shoelaces and they had me in the dirty cell. You know, I got to make a phone call. I called one of my folks. I was like, look, we ain't got the extra cash right now to buy me out. I need you to book me a show and then take the money, send it to my mom so she can come buy me out.
Right.
So I booked the show from jail, got the deposit, and you know, they bonded me out and I got out. And then we had to go to court. So the project that I had on the table at the time, I had to put on pause because I had to put all of my energy in the fight in this case.
Right.
So it all ended up working out. Pennsylvania told Illinois to go kick rocks.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Philadelphia issue. Philadelphia says the boy can stay, yada, yada, yada. But Chicago left the charges active. So as long as I was living in Pennsylvania, I was cool. As long as I didn't leave the United States, I was cool. But if they found out I was anywhere else, the warrant was still on the book. They kept that warrant out for 2 years.
Wow.
So at this point in time, this was right before we left to move to Dallas. He goes back, but we still got the custody agreement, so I still had Sam for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We moved, this was 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to Dallas right after he graduated. We drove to Chicago to pick him up. And it was crazy because I was pregnant at the time. And I ended up having a miscarriage because of all of the stress.
Mm.
When I went to go pick my baby up, we went back to Philly. We had some great road trips.
Yeah.
We went back to Philly, packed up everything, and we moved to Dallas. He was so happy when we got to DeSoto. The only thing that was missing was Giovanni because he was still in jail. He was still serving.
Right.
But because of that, I was able to get him out on probation and move him to Texas where they have a better probation system than they do in Pennsylvania. He was able to work, get a job, you know. So I'm like, all right, we're down here. We got life started. He's got a fresh start, a clean slate. And I have my boy. I would be able to have both my boys. So I went and got a lawyer. $15,000. And we started fighting for custody.
Mm.
And we were going to get it. And then my ex-husband played another dirty stunt. Went back to Chicago, even though he was no longer living there. He had already moved back to Pennsylvania.
Mm.
But he called Chicago anyway, pretending like he was still living there, said that I had abducted him, that I refused to return him. But in the order, it says he's supposed to be returned to Chicago. You're not even in Chicago. You're in Philadelphia. You don't live there no more. If I'm supposed to turn him to Illinois, who he going to? Because you don't live there no more.
Wow. In that very
But Chicago arrested me anyway. And that was the second time my son saw me arrested. We were on his way. I was about to take him to school.
Mm-hmm.
He was, because you were going to,
I was going to Cedar Hill, right?
yeah, but that's not the name of the school.
Ah, that's not. Oh.
What's the name of the high school over here in Cedar Hill? Dang it. It's been a lot of schools, man.
I know.
But anyway,
I want to go back to that stunt of him not being in Chicago.
yeah.
Calling for charges there.
Yeah.
You're in Texas, and you brought up a good point. Who does Sam go to, right? If that had been carried out and there was no parental guardian in Chicago when he got there, both of you could have lost custody. Both of you could have lost custody.
Yeah.
I know.
That's crazy.
But you know, he tried it anyway. And Chicago be so thirsty to clear felonies because they don't solve murders that they take anything. Now, this is a non-violent crime. Now, mind you, wait a minute. No, I forgot about a whole nother arrest.
How many were there?
4.
Yeah, there.
One in Philly. Then right before we moved to Texas, because I had a gig with Terry Lynn Carrington in Morocco. We did the gig at the Palace. We flew out. I went to Madrid, met with Gordon Chambers in Madrid at the airport. Flew back to Miami because I had to go back. Hold on, wait a minute. Which arrest was this?
This was. Let's see.
Yeah, no. I'm right.
Yeah.
That other arrest came first when he was in school.
Right.
Hold on. Anyway, there's been so many arrests. So when
Go
I
Jaguar.
got back from Morocco, flew into Miami, and they arrested me on the plane. Because I had left the country. And there was a warrant out for my arrest in Chicago. So they come on a plane. We're arresting, are you Jaguar Wright? Who's asking? You've been a child abduction, and they saying it all out on the plane for everybody to see. And I said, child abduction? Where's the child? I gotta carry on. You abducted a child. What do you mean I abducted a child?
And just to put this in perspective for people that are
Wow, that's crazy.
That is the Amber Law. She had an Amber Alert over her name. You know how to take Amber Alerts. We all get this text to our phone. That's the major shit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So they arrest me on the plane, and they put me in the handcuffs, and that's when I realized it's my ex-husband.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I'm in TGK County Jail in Florida. That was a disaster. I got food poisoning. They had to rush me to the hospital, the jail hospital, and then I started acting out because I'm like, I got to get out of here. So they moved me to a somewhat nicer jail. I had to go to Miami Metro West, which is like closer to Fort Lauderdale, and that was a little better. And my lawyer was like, this is fucked up. He said, this is like being framed for murder with no body.
And keep in mind, everybody, she is her own man being pulled off the public streets of this crime that didn't happen because she can't make any money. Her art is not getting out there. She's not touring. There's no activity under Jaguar Wright. She keeps getting arrested.
Wow.
Now go. I'm sorry.
So I fought extradition, and then my lawyer said, Jag, we can keep fighting. We can keep fighting. He said, but the truth is they're not going to let this go. You got to go. He said, and I'll do my best to help find you an attorney there. So they extradited me. That was the first time I got extradited. And went to Chicago, went to the zoo, went to Cook County, 23rd California. And I had no bond. I was being held with no bond. And my ex-boyfriend at the time, he was frantic. Alex was frantic. He tried calling my ex-husband. What do we got to do to work this out? Just drop the charges. She's trying to move on with her life. He was like, she has no bond and she hasn't hurt anyone. This is what she chose to do, and this is the way the law is, and it has nothing to do with me. This is law. So I'm sitting in a jail as a public figure where people recognize me. The guards used to watch my videos while they had me in handcuffs and shackles taking me to court. You know how messed up it is to have a CO ask you for your autograph while you handcuffed and shackled?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy right there.
This might be a good time for my son to explain to you how that felt for him to know what was going on and what was happening. You talk for a second, son.
All right.
You
Okay.
talk for a
I guess I
second,
can
son.
explain how I was feeling at the time. The entire thing happening while I was in 8th grade was.
I don't know how the fuck you study.
Yeah.
Oh.
For
Let me
clarification,
see something. Wait a
like,
minute.
This
was a year ago.
I'm a great
Okay.
student. Usually strive. Yeah.
Okay, this video was uploaded a year ago because I'm looking at the situation of Jaguar's son is against Jaguar, but in this video he stands for Jaguar and he's against the father. Plus he's a little young, so you know when you're young you just going with the flow. So I'm putting things together in my mind. Let's keep going.
I strive for straight A's with every year, trying to be better with each year I get through. And I've succeeded and passed every single grade up to that point. Mm-hmm. But by 8th grade, after seeing my mom arrested, when she was trying to help me be safe, help me stay fine. And being here, not only did it feel right, but it started a couple of thoughts in me, a couple of dark things that were distracting me from my own work.
Like it is, you were thinking about committing suicide, and you had to go into a hospital twice.
Yeah. At that point, I was starting to think that I was becoming a burden to whoever I was with. And at the age of 12, not even a teenager,
Wow.
I started contemplating whether or not it was an option of whether or not I should die.
Wow.
To me, I thought I was a monster. How could a son be responsible for sending his own mother to jail because he decided to speak out about what happened? To me, at that time, it felt like being silent was a thing I should have done. But because I opened up, this happened.
I wonder how old he is now at this interview.
Tell me he don't sound like the rape survivors be sounding.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me he don't sound like a victim.
Yeah.
And Sam, before you tell me anymore, I just want to, you do know that is not the case, right? You have.
Yeah. I'm well aware that's not the case.
Okay. All right.
That was how I was thinking at the time. And
wow. Okay.
They had said, and
they put him on Prozac in the hospital.
Yeah.
That stuff
and when
is
he
not
went back
good.
to his dad because of the
That
custody
stuff is
arrangement,
not good for any kid.
his dad took him off, sent him to a therapist who told him that what he needed to do was forget about this, put it all in the past, and just focus on his studies.
Yeah. And that was at that point in April when, at that point, for a student who's usually focused on getting B's and A's, maybe a C if he's not getting the material, the highest grade I had was either a C or a D. Everything else was either a D or an F.
Wow.
And that's not a normal occurrence either.
So let's fast forward to the next arrest that he saw. So I make it through all of that, right? I make it through all of that. Finally get a lawyer. They finally grant me bond. My ex Alex paid it 10 racks. Paid for the lawyer. I wanted to go to trial, but I had a show booked with Terry Lynn Carrington in Hong Kong at the Cultural Arts Festival in Hong Kong, and it was already booked. Mm-hmm. If I had decided to stay and fight it, I would have had to cancel on her and cancel that for my career, for my resume, because I wouldn't have been allowed to leave the country. So in order to get my passport back so I could go, I made a deal to reckless conduct, 3 or 4, and probation, 2 years probation, and parenting classes.
Wow.
I made the deal, I got out, did Hong Kong. He came back for the summer. He said, Mom, I don't want to go. I want to stay home with you. Got another lawyer, another $15K, and we won custody. But Chicago arrested me again. That was the last time you saw me get arrested, when I was taking you to school over here in Cedar Hill, and they arrested us. They arrested me when we got in the car, and they took you to be interviewed.
Yeah.
By CPS. At that point in time, for arrest, I was just fucking prepared. Let's do it. Sat in jail in Dallas for 2 months. My lawyer here, shout out to Paul Blocker, who's also first elder at my church, Dallas City Temple Seventh-day Adventist Church. Paul Blocker represented me. Texas wasn't going to let me go. They said it was bullshit. It was bogus. They had legal custody paperwork here in Dallas that said I had custody of my son, and they weren't giving me to Chicago. Chicago refused to respond. They wouldn't even acknowledge the custody paperwork that was sent to them by the DA's office. So I had custody of my son while I'm sitting in county jail fighting extradition to Chicago, who never had jurisdiction to carry out any of these charges in the first place. The first time or the second time.
Jeez Louise.
Because the custody arrangement was in Philadelphia. And I had lived in Texas longer than he had lived in Chicago. I had jurisdiction. That's why I won, and that's why I got custody in Dallas. All that time, he had been charging me and coming after me. He never even had legal custody changed to Chicago.
Wow.
They never had jurisdiction. So now Chicago is busy trying to ignore the legal documents in Texas, not wanting to admit that they never had the right to charge me. So what did they do? They doubled down. They got a governor's warrant. A governor's warrant for a nonviolent crime for a child whose legal custody was in another state. That's how fucking thirsty Illinois is. Fuck you, Crook County. Imagine being sitting in jail for child abduction when you have legal custody of the child that you're being accused of abducting. That's what I went through in Cook County. I fought 2 cases in jail. The custody case in Dallas, because after I got arrested and I was sitting in jail, and they upped my bond from $100,000 to $150,000.
Oh, you didn't think that they were when they found out who they were dealing with?
Yeah.
They upped my bond. So now I had to post 15 racks to get out. I had just paid 15 racks to win custody. By the way, y'all need to keep doing the math on all of this legal bullshit.
Yeah. It can get expensive.
Son's college fund was spent on the criminal justice system so this nigga could win $500 a month.
Wow.
At the expense of his own child. At his expense.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm on the phone doing court in the social worker's office in jail, fighting to maintain custody. But by the time I got arrested, Everything fell apart. My mom lost it.
Wow.
My son started getting high again. Poor Sam. And that's when my ex-husband started fighting to get custody back. He took advantage of that situation because I was, locked up. Because the truth is once we won custody, he had visitation. He could come once a month, have him for a weekend. He was supposed to do a bunch of stuff. He never came. He never visited him. He didn't even call. He didn't even send him a Christmas gift. It wasn't until he found out that I was in jail in Chicago with my mother's family, who was involved in surviving Tasha K, called him and told him what was going on. And then that's when he started pouncing.
That was the only time he visited Dallas.
Yeah.
At all.
Wow. You tell him
That's crazy.
That was literally the only time he visited. Once we were in that wreck of a place over at River Creek, around, I believe,
they got evicted from my from our lovely apartment home because my mom stopped paying the rent. She stopped paying the bills. She just totally, she had a whole break. She didn't understand. And she crashed. She emptied out my bank account, emptied out her bank account, just started spending money, doing reckless shit. And then the lawyer came in and wanted more money. And so she gave the lawyer the rent money. And then they got evicted.
So, Sam, this is the second time now that you've been evicted. How are you feeling at that point? Like, what's going on through your head?
At that point, outside, the only thing I could do at that point, I was staying strong because I knew that all of the
my bad.
It's okay. This was becoming the disaster.
I was trying to read the comments.
I was staying strong because I wanted to stay. I didn't want to leave, even if things were bad at the time. I knew it's like there's eventually a point, like there's a light at the tunnel. I could still stay there. I just have to survive through that. So spent the months with my brother and my grandmom over at Little Creek. But as the days went by, because of grandmom's new spending habits, which were a mess of logic that I don't think can even be described with common sense.
The shit that she did with Finger Hut. Oh God!
Wow.
How many pairs of Stacey Adams did she buy you off of Finger Hut?
Shoot, I'm trying to remember. Like,
I'm sitting in jail. Getting people to send me money that they owe me. She's spending everything we got. She bought another car.
Wow.
Bought another car. Bought I think 2 pairs of those Stacey Adams shoes.
She and would not pay no rent.
Wow.
Yeah. And
people don't realize how hard.
That's not funny, man. That's not funny.
Down.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
I don't brag about it.
People will misspend money, man. It's funny how poor people who think poor, people that don't have money, when they do get money, what do you think they're going to do with it? You think they're going to do some wise decisions with the money? It's been plenty of times where some of my friends would give somebody some money and they say they went and bought beer. They went and did this. What do you think they're going to do with the money? They don't know what to do. They don't know how to invest. They don't know anything about using this money to bring in more money. They don't know nothing about that. All they know is feel good. I'm going to make myself feel good. Yeah, that's all they know.
I don't brag about my good deeds. So all of this happened. I wasn't able to make it to the last custody hearing. If I was able to get out of jail in Chicago and make it to the last custody hearing, I could have maintained custody of him. But because I was forced not to appear because they kept pushing my trial back in Chicago, I lost custody. Not because I was a bad mother, not because I didn't legally obtain it, but because I was being detained in another state, and hence it was abandonment. I wasn't there. That's the law.
Yeah.
And guess what? A week after I lost custody, they finally reduced my bond to $3,000, and I was allowed to leave the state and go home after I lost custody of my son for a crime that I didn't commit. I bonded out. I came back home. I get the phone call from my PD because I beat that case with a public defender and 160 court documents from Dallas. And that's when they said they were dismissing the case against me. And then they were going to terminate. I just had to do a couple of things, and they were going to terminate the probation on the first case, considering they were all attached and none of it was lawful. But it's still on my credit report, though, that I was charged with a felony. They never say that you beat it, but they make sure they put on there that you was charged with a felony.
Wow.
So even if I wanted to work a regular job, I moved around just because that's bad.
Yeah.
On my credit report, even right now to this day, it says that I'm still on probation. And that ended in 2018.
Wow.
And it's still on my record.
All that at the expense of your family and your
And then I got hit, and then that's when he came for me after all of that with another child support order, which went into effect in September of 2018, and then my son was murdered 3 days later.
What does a credit report have to do with, what does being arrested have to do with credit? I thought a credit report should be about, do you pay your bills on time, yes or no? If I'm arrested, I can still pay my bills on time. That has nothing to do. Boy, this world is designed to keep you down. It is designed to keep you down. Well, if he arrested, we could put that on the credit report so creditors to know to watch out for this person, even though they pay on time.
Now, that is the pivotal point where things totally break for you, because you were out of self. Like, you, at that point, the break had happened. Do you feel comfortable talking about that a little bit? Because I know that that's something that's still...
Hold on a second. We can talk about it. Just hold on a second.
I'm still here.
Sam, I know, I'm coming back to you. I want to give you your flowers, nephew, and tell you that you are very resilient. You have the light of God that lives within inside of you. You are a dynamic human being. And continue being you, because you're dope.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure the whole family was here. This is Giovanni.
Yeah.
This is my son, Giovanni 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦 Wright. Born September 5th.
Rest in peace.
1993. He would have been 29 this year. Fat Kid did this for him in honor of his memory.
Wow. Okay.
The first time my son saw his brother's urn was May of this year. Just sitting there watching him look at it, trying to compute the fact that that's his brother in that jar. Because he wasn't allowed to be here for the funeral. Why don't you tell him why you couldn't come home for your brother's funeral?
Yeah. Back in April of, let's say, I think, was that 2018 at the time? That one time my father was down in Texas while we were in Little Creek. The last days in which I saw my brother, he had three other family members, brought 3 other family members with him. They had convinced me that considering my grandma not being in this right state of mind, wasn't giving me like enough food for breakfast at the time, and was just spending money all over the place. I didn't have money for lunch at school to get extras or even for breakfast. I was going in and out of school some days, feeling a bit extra more hungry than before. And with the whole place being a mess, they had effectively talked me out of my stance of staying there due to how things were at Little Creek. And I was sent back with my father. And both of us would go to Plymouth meeting. And that was the last place. And there would be the last time I'd move during my high school years. And through that time, after I still remember this. I was at my uncle's house in Philadelphia, and I was working on a mural.
I saw that mural. I have a picture of it. Me and your stepdad went to go see Uncle Dan, and we got a picture of the mural. It's fucking fantastic.
Wasn't able to finish it, but I still remember the.
You can still finish it. We can go back and see Uncle Dan, and you can finish it. I just talked to him the other day.
I'd like to.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I was taking a break in the meantime inside his house. See my dad come by, and he dropped the news that he told me that my brother Devani was dead. And at the time, I was holding back the tears when I was hearing it, but thinking of it now, I would have been a bit more emotional about it, considering it's like he had just died. But Dad told me that even it is sad that my brother had died, but I still had to go to school, and I'm not sure if they would. And he wasn't sure if the school would allow me being absent for, even though it's such a delicate matter.
Pause.
Go on, Jaguar.
Can we just take a second to take that
Please. Yes. Your brother just died.
Your brother, who you were forced to be away from, who was old enough to look after you and take care of you,
Come on now.
just got murdered in the street. But you gotta go to school. Because
same
you don't
day?
know if they'll let you off, for something like, I don't know, your brother getting shot 8 times and being left to die in a fucking parking lot. For 8, oh my.
Mm-hmm.
It not only doesn't make sense, but it's infuriating greatly.
Sam.
Listen to me right now. I don't care what nobody think about me. I don't care what you think about me as a mother. I don't care about what you think about me as a person. What kind of fucking parent tells their child that their brother just got murdered, but you gotta fucking go to school?
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't feel anything. Just go to school. Like your brother ain't dead. Like this ain't real.
Jaguar reminds me of me. I like Jaguar. And I'm listening to Jaguar because when I get mad and when I get angry, when I know I'm telling the truth, when I feel the truth, when I feel it, is when I start getting loud and screaming. And my family members and everybody keep telling me, well, stop yelling. And I say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling because I'm pissed off at the fact that I know I'm right. I have to stand on what I'm right about. And that's what she's doing right now. She's right. She knows she's right. She feel the rightness. Yeah. So,
Mother.
Yep.
Damn.
These motherfuckers. Go ahead.
Yep.
I have a question
Go
for you,
ahead.
Sam.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time that you saw your brother?
The last time I saw him was like that April before I left Little Creek.
Wait a second. Wait, it's like this ain't real? Hold on a second. Let me show you how real this is. You see that tag? Crematory, Dallas, Texas. 6342. You see the ash in that bag? But go to school though.
I don't want to see that. Oh my God.
I don't care what none of y'all think about me.
That's sickening.
If you think that a good parent would tell their child, hey, your sibling just got mad, but you gotta get up and go to school. If you think that's good parenting, God forgive me because it's the Sabbath. You can eat my whole ass out. After I take a shit without wiping. Yes.
Yeah. The only, the last, cool, vivid memory that I had of my brother was, last happy memory that I had with him was before we got evicted from Huntington Ridge. We were playing on my console on the Wii U. We were playing a game together, and it was one of the few times I remember having fun with my brother, just having a good moment. In the Little Creek, he was off doing his own thing. Really.
Tell him why you couldn't go to the funeral. Tell him why you couldn't go to your brother's funeral.
Couldn't go to the funeral.
I wasn't allowed to take a flight to go to my father's meets, and over there in Philly, they decided that, well, since most of them weren't going to bother going, they said, well, we couldn't make it. Well, no, the real reason is you don't want to go. They decided to make their own sort of funeral party over there on Hawthorne Street in Frankfurt. For those who know, and for those who don't know the area, it's one of those areas that we call the streets. Yeah. Anything can happen over there. And you want to know what happened? In the midst of the party, I was in an alley on where the tables were set up where you can sit down and eat. I was heading out the alley, and as I was looking at the alley, my left eye is able to pick up some.
Wait a minute, let's back up a little bit. My camera stopped.
Frankfurt. For those who know, and for those who don't know the area, it's one of those areas that we call the streets. Yeah.
The streets.
Anything can happen over there. And you want to know what happened? In the midst of the party, I was in an alley where the tables were set up where you can sit down and eat. I was heading out the alley, and as I was looking at the alley, my left eye is able to pick up someone who was holding something that was pitch black, but he was holding it out with one arm. He was holding a firearm, a pistol, and I could see the muzzle flash as he fired. I ran back in the alley immediately as possible and hid under the tables.
After you just lost your brother to gun violence.
Yes. How twisted is that? To know that your older brother had died from gun violence at a time when he was still innocent, mind you, and to go to a party in which someone pulled that off, one of his enemies who didn't want to go, mind you, and was out to kill one of his friends, my brother's friend. And if he had gone off on a killing spree, I could have been shot and killed in the same way as my brother, under different circumstances. Absolutely criminal. And what's even more sickening was that at the time after the gunshot was fired, my father wasn't near me at the time. Keep in mind, I said I had to fend for myself and hide under the table so that no one could see me and that I may hide in obscurity. He didn't come until roughly a minute after the gunshot, where he picked me up and then we drove off. So when my mom heard about it, afterwards, hearing what had just happened, she was outright infuriated that I wasn't able to go. But he told me to tell her in the call that could have happened basically anywhere.
That was how he rationalized that? It could happen anywhere?
Yeah, he rationalized it as such. When, in all sense of fairness, we all know that it's in those areas like Frankfurt where that happens most often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so...
Pause. By the way, all of this happened on the day of my son's funeral. That shooting happened on my son's funeral. One of his best friends died on the day. His death date is my son's funeral date. September 17th. So imagine, I just get finished the service at church. We're having a private dinner repass at Gloria's in Bishop Arts here in Dallas. And I get the phone call that my only living child is now a witness at a shooting. And it was one of my son's enemies who came to kill his friends. And they wondered why I didn't bring his body back to have a funeral in Philadelphia for that to happen.
Wow. Go on, Jaguar.
That's why I didn't bring him back. On top of that, he died in Texas. We live in Texas. His blood, my DNA, spilled on the ground in Texas. You wanted to honor him so bad, why the fuck didn't you show up? I called it divine retribution. Y'all tried to overstep his mother. Y'all tried to overstep who I am in his life and do your own fucking thing. And you got an innocent boy killed. And that young man had just had a baby.
Yeah. Insidious.
Jag.
Tasha K, you can kiss my ass, bitch. I'm coming for you. The Keep It a Bean podcast is coming for you. You interviewed my son, Ho. Did you ask him any of this? Because he wouldn't have told you everything. She just asked simple questions. Why didn't you ask him none of this on your fucking shit? On your surviving Jaguar Wright on Patreon? How much money you get off us, Ho? How much money did you make off of us, Ho?
This is what I want to hear right here. So apparently, and y'all let me know in the comments if I'm right, apparently he has already did that interview with that lady. And now, see, that's what the son is. I mean, he's just a kid. He think he grown. He's just a kid, so he don't understand what's going on. They doing it for views and stuff. Now he with mom. First you was saying, I despise mom, I hate mom, or Jaguar, like it's two different people. I don't know.
But he's the better parent, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What happens with you after the aftermath of your...
But what about the son? What is the son saying? He jumping back and forth, I guess. Who you down with, son? You down with the father or you down with Jaguar? Are you with us? Jaguar, I'm sorry. Are you with us or you against us? Because I'm down with Jaguar. No matter what, I'm down with Jaguar. Yeah.
Son's death. Where's Jag? What happens with you after the aftermath of your son's death? Where's Jag?
I got one son dead. I got one son being held hostage. I I got a family disloyal and broken. I got a company that I just started. I got shows I already booked before I knew that my son was going to be murdered. I went back to work.
Now,
I smoked 8 grams of weed a day, sometimes a whole gram a day. I drove Lyft until they revoked me because I had a felony charge on my background. And then I doubled down on building the company. And then, pretty much every day, me and Sam would talk every now and then, but it was hard to talk to him because I knew the position he was in. I knew just talking to me was bringing stress in his life. And everybody needed some kind of peace.
so
And then I had the gun. And I would come back to my son's apartment because after Giovanni died, I assumed the rest of his lease, so I would have some time to work on making sure that his murderer was charged and wrapping up the details of my family, of my son's life. And I would sit there when I finally got his urn because they lost his ashes. Do you know how bad of a mother I felt? I lost my son after he was dead. They sent his ashes to the wrong crematorium. I finally tracked them down and they delivered them. And I said, ain't this a bitch? Being a mom never ends. I was still nervous, worried about where he was, and he was dead.
but that's my
And then I got him home.
That's my whole point in asking this
thing.
because all these things that are compiled on top of each other, it's so layered and it's so thick and it's so heavy.
And strategic.
And you have to worry about an appendage of yourself, being Sam, being somewhere and you don't know if he's safe, knowing that he was in a place where he was safe and he was taken by ill-begotten means.
Listen to me. There's a story in the Bible. There were 2 mothers. This is during the time and the reign of King Solomon. They both had infants around the same age. One of the women rolled over on her child in the middle of the night, suffocated her baby died. So she took the other woman's baby and said it was hers. The other mother woke up, realized her child was missing, started looking around, noticing the woman was sitting there with her baby. She said, that's my baby. What are you doing? No, it's not. That's my baby. It goes before the king. Whose baby is this? My baby. It's my baby. He said, well, I got some idea. Bring me a sword. Bring me the child. I'm going to cut him in half and the both of y'all can have a part. And the real mother said, no, she can have him. And King Solomon said, take that baby from that woman and give it to his real mother, because only a real mother would give her child up to save his life. I gave my son up to save his life.
Amen.
So,
Twice, 2 visits to psychiatric hospitals where he was being medicated because he wanted to commit suicide because he felt like living was hurting his mother.
can I ask you a question? Especially during that time, was he the only one? Did he have company in that thinking?
What do you mean?
Meaning you. Where were you during that time mentally? Did you have those thoughts?
Oh, yeah, after Giovanni, I would sit down. I would come home. That's where I was. I would come home, sit with his ashes. I would smoke a blunt. I really wasn't eating at all. Just water, weed, music, and the ashes. And I had the gun, and I would put the gun down. I would check it, make sure it was loaded. And then I would wait to see if I felt like putting one in the chamber, I thought about killing myself a lot. All the time. And, you know, my son was dead. So him being dead and me being alive, that didn't feel right. My other son, his life was tortured because I was his mother and he was being used as a pawn his entire existence. I thought maybe it would just be better if I just, you know, fuck it, let them all win.
Checked out.
And it was when Gerald crash test dummied into my life. It was right before the holidays were coming, Christmas was coming, and that was my favorite holiday with my kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one holiday that an entertainer can guarantee that they don't have to work unless they want to.
Right.
So that was my time, you know, my family and the cooking and the memories and the Mario Kart battles and playing handball in the living room in front of the fireplace. And it was going to be my first Christmas without both of my sons, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just, fuck it, I'll skip it. And I went to the V, and I was sitting right across from where me and my son used to sit when he would get off work. You know, if he got a big paycheck, we go to the V, I buy him a drink and congratulate him on being a man. And I'm just sitting there looking at the seats, and my friends in there, you know, they knew I was emotional. But I had made up my mind that night, you know. I'm just going to go home, you know, and just... I was going there alone by myself anyway, when nobody around, so... You know, I figure they find me in a couple days. And then Gerald walked over to me. And he walked up and he said, "Mother, can I hug you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't very touchy-feely in that time. I didn't want nobody touching me. I didn't. But I let him hug me. And I swear to God, it was in that moment I just broke down. And, you know, throughout the rest of the night, he talked to me and I talked to him. And I knew if I went back to that apartment by myself, I was going to kill myself. So we started listening to my demos and we started singing along. We started listening to music. And I said, "Would you just come sit with me tonight? We can smoke, we can listen to music." He said, "Yeah." So he came back to that apartment with me, to my son's apartment with me. And he looked at me that night and he said, "I thought about killing myself last week too." He said, maybe we can help find a way to keep each other alive. And that's how my relationship with my husband began. We were battle buddies, you know, in the foxhole together. But after a week, I started living again. I started eating again. Because I wasn't eating. I couldn't eat. Every time I went to go eat something, all I could smell was my son's dead body. I couldn't get the smell of his body out of my nose for 2 months. to eat food, it just turned rancid in my mouth. So I don't give a fuck what nobody say about my husband. If you love me, if you fucks with me, if you think I'm great, you need to thank him, because I wasn't going to be here. And then he said, even if you don't stay here for me, you got to stay here for Sam. He's going to be 18 soon. And he's going to need you. He said, trouble don't last always.
No.
And that's what I did.
And
I
God,
just basically waited for my son to turn 18.
and God intervenes, Jag, when you least expect it, and you never know in the forms in which He reveals Himself.
Fuck every last one of y'all that believes any of that fucking shit on that surviving Jag. I'm surviving Jaguar Wright. The fuck them pussies survived.
And so,
Every ungrateful motherfucker in that goddamn video lived off of me, ate off of me, succeeded off of me in one way or the fucking other, and you survived me. Sounds like I helped you thrive. I'm surviving me. Who the fuck wanna be me? You're more than welcome. Please give me a rest.
you know,
Every motherfucker that got anything to say.
you already
Hashtag bring down the bombs. Fuck y'all. People want to know why I get so touchy about victims and survivors. Listen to my life.
And that's my whole point with you, Jag. You know, people wonder why you're like the way you are. At a point in time, you heard this woman's story. She had nothing to lose. Why? Why would she shut up? Why would she be quiet? At a point in time where all bullies are bullying on you, at some time you snap. At some time you have had it.
You want to know what's interesting? They have been lightweight bullying me for fucking over a decade. You didn't think I was going to have a reaction? Eventually? Let's be clear on this part. My ex-husband has still maintained a working friendship with the Roots this entire time. He still sells them discount polos. Still. Every time a project was about to come out, I get paperwork from family court. Does that sound like a coincidence? Then I find out a week later, he done got them some wardrobe clothes. Yeah, keep that bitch busy. She about to make a move. Keep that bitch busy. Don't keep telling people to come buy clothes from Ralph Lipschitz fucking shit ass fucking company. Fuck child support. I done already paid through the nose. What's up, Toke? It's just real shit this morning, Toke. Say hi to Tokyo, babe.
Hello.
I can't wait for y'all two to meet in public, in person. Y'all gonna love each other. She crazier than me. But she a mama bear just like me. She fighting a good fight. Even though her daughter caught up, she fighting a good fight. I want to send the prayers out to Black China and the children. China, I pray for you. This family prays for you every day that you find your way through all of that demonic stuff they trying to put you through. Your mother loves you, China. Me and your mother cry for you, China.
Now that Tokyo's in the room, it's a better opportunity now to talk about what's happening. Now.
You know, Philadelphia TV network is what's happening now. .com. Register today. Register and subscribe today. It's 24 hours a day. Jaguar Wright, me and my raw, unfiltered. Oh, by the way, that first virtual concert that we did on the 1st is now available on the network. They can go and see it for themselves. My first performance in 2 years on stage after coming back from COVID. I ain't do too bad.
Hey, Tokyo, follow me. I want to talk to you. Follow me, Tokyo.
Toke, you need to follow. You need to follow Chike. You gotta go talk to Chike. That's my baby, Toke. I put my name on it. I put that on my dead son. That's part of the reason why me and Toke so close. So what happened to me don't happen to her. God bless Toke. She got something that I don't got. I'm never going to have grandchildren from my son unless there's a baby out there. And if there is a baby out there, please let's do the DNA test because I would love to see his eyes again. There was rumors that there was a baby out there right after he died, but it died down. I was like, fuck it, I'm Jaguar Wright. If it's real, she'll come find me one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be like the best Christmas present ever to find out that I had a grandchild from Giovanni. That would be the best Christmas present, even if it happened in March. You know?
Have you been writing this whole time?
Yeah. Yeah, I just started writing something this morning.
Oh, have you been writing the whole time? Jaguar Wright, I always stand on Jaguar's side. So, wait a minute, let's get this straight real quick. So you mean to tell me that the son has actually did that video, did that interview with that lady, and then this is after the interview, because Jaguar was saying it's AI and all this stuff. Apparently he must have did the interview I'm trying to look at the writing too small. So he said so many negative things about his mother on that interview, and now he's living with his mother. So what, he takes it back? He takes some of the things back. Now he's talking so bad about his father. And I don't know, I don't know, but it seems to me that if you're living with your father, you saying all these negative things about the mother. But if you're living with the mother, you're saying all these negative things about the father. It must be a kid thing. It's a kid thing, I'm thinking, you know, and I'm hoping maybe I'm missing something, but that's what I got so far. But also, no matter what, I roll with Jaguar. Even if some of the things that she might say, which is very, very little, I can't even think of none right now, that I may not agree with, but I'm still rolling with her. And what's on my mind now, that I had people in the comment section, because of something I said or something I believe in, they said, man, I'm unsubscribing. And I'm like, well, that's a shame that you rolling with me, you like the videos, you down with the channel, but as soon as I say one thing wrong, I like strawberry ice cream and vanilla ice cream, but I don't like the chocolate. Man, shoot, chocolate come first for me. I'm unsubscribing because you don't like chocolate. That's what it seemed like, you know. Now, if I said something about I stand trying to protect people who are other people, that's a big leg to stand on. But y'all know how I feel. Shame on you if you do anything against somebody else's will. I can't believe I've been working in the yard, man. My fingernails is dirty as I don't know what, so don't look at my fingernails. I stand against anyone who does anything against somebody else's will. Now, if somebody else wants to do it and both parties is down with it, like fighting or spanking while they're in the bed or filming while they're in the bed, whatever the case may be, I'm down for it. And I'm also down with law. Whatever the laws of the land is, the Bible says you should obey the laws of the land. This is what the Bible says, so I'm down with that. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Jaguar, my heart goes out to you. For real, your son. Please, I'm hoping you get yourself together. I'm hoping that all this drama and negativity that's in your life, you can go past it. And wish you all the best. Wish both of y'all all the best. I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. You tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.